Hey guys,
Hey.
welcome to the Allan Houston Who.
Yep.
Just finished wrapping up Allan&HoostanProgram with the career retrospective of Finding Dory. Now on Allan Houston Who, it is my turn because the last two times Justin was talking. Well, it was Justin's turn, and he did We did Foreigner, right?
Yep.
And what else did we do?
Not John Fogerty.
Dan Fogelberg.
Dan Fogelberg.
So now the reins are being passed back to me, and now we are going to be exploring an artist that I have a lot of familiarity of, and he has a general familiarity of a musician who is regarded in many magazines, many videos, and just to a lot of guitar players, the greatest guitarist of all time. I would agree that he is. I wouldn't say he's the greatest. Now, I might get flagged for this. I don't want to put him high. I do put him high, but not at number one because, it's all subjective. But he is one of the greatest, if not the greatest. I am going to be showing more songs to Justin of the greatest guitar player ever, Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
So we're going to... You have a familiarity with him. Like All Along the Watchtower. Besides All Along the Watchtower, the Bob Dylan cover, which ones do you have familiarity with?
Little Wing.
Little Wing. And what else?
I think Voodoo Child, right? That's
yes.
him as well. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to show you 5 songs that are not just his other big hits of his, but ones that are underplayed and are deep tracks from underrated from albums and stuff. So, to start, are you ready? First
Yes.
of all, okay. Let me think where we can start because there's a lot we can pick. So I'm gonna go ahead.
How many songs are there that we usually do? Do you remember?
Like 3 or 5.
Okay. I think it's 5.
I'll try. I know in the Dan Fogelberg one, you tried to you give me some details.
Yeah, the only way the way I did that is I just played it and then I just went online while I was playing. That's all.
So maybe I'll do that too. But I think I have some because there was a period where I would listen to a lot of Jimi Hendrix songs, and I do. So I kind of have a familiarity with it. So
if you want, you could use this phone here that belongs to nobody.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see. So we're gonna go ahead and start with a song that I actually consider my top 5 of Jimi Hendrix songs. It's a really good song just from the opening riff. So we're going to go ahead and play it. Let me see. Okay. So the song that I'm going to be playing, firstly, because we usually name the songs, right, that we play. So the first song that I'm going to play for Justin is, again, one of my favorite Jimi Hendrix songs of all time. It's a rendition, actually, of a song. Jimi Hendrix did not actually record this song first. Another artist actually did this song first. The Leaves, late 1965, recorded the earliest known version of what would be Hey Joe. So a lot of artists did it. So they started it, and then eventually so many people did it, including the Byrds, and then eventually Jimi Hendrix. So I'm going to play to you the song, and while we're listening to the song, I'm going to read you some facts. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go with Hey Joe. So for background context, you could hear it, right?
Yeah, I can hear it.
So for context, Jimi Hendrix obviously was the singer and guitarist, and then he had 2 other bandmates to back him up. There's an infamous trio. On the drums is the late great, one of my favorite drummers of all time, and I consider him one of the most underrated, Mitch Mitchell, who was a pioneer in kind of the jazz fusion type drummer, where he incorporated a lot of jazz technique into rock, because around the late 60s, early 70s, rock was a kind of a genre that was really getting into the mainstream, but more on the heavy side. And Jimi Hendrix, especially the Jimi Hendrix Experience, was one of the few pioneers of that. So, let me see. So, well, let me read some facts first. So, for Hey Joe, this was on the B-side for Stone Free, which was another song from the album that this is also on, Are You Experienced, which is the debut Jimi Hendrix Experience album. This was released December 16th, 1966, but recorded October 23rd. And this was released as a single. So this was not on the album. The album didn't come out till 70. No, 67. I apologize. The genre, of course, is blues rock. Like this, it was a big style that Jimi Hendrix rolled with throughout his whole career. The studio was at Delane Lee in London. So they went to London in England to record this album. Songwriters was Billy Roberts, and producer was Chaz Chandler. Let me think. So it says Jimi Hendrix was exploring a more rock-oriented sound in New York in '66 with his group at the time named Jimmy James and the Blue Flames. Hey Joe was one of the first songs they performed regularly. And then I guess they did it, the arrangement of how they did it was a more different tempo, so then they decided to change it up. So as you can hear, you could probably hear the dynamics of the drums with the song. You could probably hear it. How Mitch kind of like, what was great about Mitch Mitchell was the fact that it was kind of like John Bonham and Jimmy Page and Led Zeppelin. The way that he kind of follows the guitar, but he also pushes and pulls the song and how the tempo will go. And it kind of creates this big dynamic for the song. Like the jazz kind of stuff helped Jimmy kind of push the sound even further. Let me see. This in '66 when this was released, Hendrix's version became a hit in the UK, entering the top 10 of the UK singles chart in January of 1967, peaking at number 6. And then the single was released in the US May 1st, 1967. So 66 was when it was released in England, and then America in 1967.
It ended.
Oh, it ended?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was good, though.
Okay, so what did you think of the song?
I've actually heard that song. I don't mind it. I think it's a pretty... I think it's a song that I would go like, like that, too. I think it's just a song that I just kind of would put on just to... like when I'm driving or something.
Yeah.
Doing homework. Working around the house or whatever. It's just a generally solid song, and it's a good song to chillax to.
Did you like the besides obviously Jimmy and his amazing guitar, did you like the bass, the drums? Like, was there anything about that you liked?
I think Jimmy was kind of at the forefront of it.
Yeah,
yeah.
You'll notice on a lot of Jimi Hendrix songs, like the bass and even Mitch Mitchell's drums, they have to cut through his sound because he his tuning and the way the sound of his guitars were.
Yeah.
Really was the forefront of the song, so it's gonna be kind of hard. So I can respect if that's not your thing.
True.
So yeah, so the bassist was Noel Redding.
Not bad.
So both of them. So Mitch Mitchell at the time was the last remaining member because Jimi Hendrix unfortunately passed away in the 70s, and I think Noel Redding passed away, I believe. Also, I forgot when. Let me see when he passed. Died in 2003. Mitch Mitchell died a few years after. So towards the 2010s. So it's all members are unfortunately passed. But Mitch Mitchell at the time was the last remaining one. So next song I'm going to play. Let me think. I'm trying to play. Okay. I'm going to play you a song that you may also be familiar of. But I actually really like this song. And the song is going to be Fire. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
I've heard the title.
But you never heard the song.
Never heard the song.
All right, so I'm going to play you a song, and you tell me what you think. You ready?
All right. I like the drumming.
Yeah, this was definitely a big highlight. What I loved about this was Mitch was able to kind of like have the dynamic of having the jazz fills that he has because he has the jazz background, but he also incorporates it into a more of a rock kind of setting. If you notice the guitar, when I would listen to it, like recently now, I actually made this kind of like connection where it's like this the guitars kind of sound like a surf vibe Beach Boys type thing, kind of. I could be wrong, but that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
But definitely this was recorded by the band in early 1967. And it's been described by many as an exercise in soul, psychedelic rock, and polyrhythmic jazz-inspired drumming.
You can hear it, yeah.
You could definitely hear the polyrhythms that Mitch is playing with like the fast rolling and like the dynamics on like the ride cymbal and all that, like the simple like ride like the backbeat and stuff.
Yeah.
Let me see. This was recorded in January 11th and February 8th of 1967. In the U.S., it was released in 1971, but in the UK, 1970. And same studio, Delane Lee, and also Olympic Studios in London. Jimi Hendrix wrote the song, and then Chas Chandler, of course, produced the song, as many of the other songs, including Hey Joe before. This was one of Hendrix's most popular songs, and in concert was frequently played. Let's see. So the origin, it says the song had an innocuous origin. So Noel Redding, the bass player, invited Hendrix to his mom's house on a cold New Year's Eve in Folkestone, England after performance. Hendrix asked Noel's mother if he could stand next to her fireplace to warm herself. She agreed, but her German Shepherd was in the way, so Hendrix let out with the "I'll move over and let Jimi take over." So now that kind of makes sense. Then Hendrix later joked with the lyric, "Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to find her poor dog a bone, but when she bent over, Rover took over, because Rover had a bone of his own." Shakespeare, page 35. So that's kind of...
not bad.
So what did you think of that one?
I like the beginning.
You like the riff, like the guitar riff, and then Mitch's drumming?
I like it.
Yeah, I think that was a big highlight of that song. I like how Mitch backs up Jimi with like these crazy polyrhythmic, like out of nowhere kind of like jazz stuff. And it kind of surprises you. Like you never expect him to do that.
True.
It may sound easy, but it's actually difficult to play. I've tried playing it. I've tried playing Jimi Hendrix, and I'm telling you, Mitch Mitchell is not easy to replicate. It's really, really hard. Because he has a unique style.
It's cool.
Let's see. I don't know. You probably heard this one. This is probably another famous one. Foxy Lady.
Heard the name.
This is definitely one of Jimi Hendrix's most popular songs of all time. Like this is when you think of Jimi Hendrix, this song you definitely would think of, but starts off of the amazing guitar riff in the beginning. This is obviously one of his best-known songs and was frequently performed in concerts throughout his career. Rolling Stone magazine placed this song at number 153 on its list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. This was released May 12th, 1967 for the UK version, and then August 23rd of 1967 for the US version. This took place at CBS Studios in London, and this was also written by Jimi and produced by Chas Chandler. It says here, music critic Thomas Ward points out, if one song could be said to encapsulate Hendrix's entire oeuvre, Foxy Lady is certainly closer than most. The song opens with a fingered note shaken in a wide, exaggerated vibrato, so the adjacent strings are sounded. After the amplifier is allowed to feedback, Hendrix slides down to the rhythm figure, which uses a dominant 7th sharp 9th chord, a jazz and rhythm and blues style chord, often referred to as the Hendrix chord. Hendrix biographer Keith Shadrick writes, Hendrix cast the whole solo in the blues vernacular, using bent notes and glisses, or slides, between the notes primarily within the blues or pentatonic scales. To that he adds the new metalogicism he has been hearing on recent British rock records. So that's really amazing. Like this kind of song and a lot of other songs on the album really kind of showcase like the technique he's doing, and like the tone and like the sound that he was gaining from this, because it was really like so like you can hear like the guitar is like in your face, and it's like overloading the speakers like crazy.
You can hear that, that's for sure.
Yeah. The lyrics actually. So Hendrix's biographer of Jimi Hendrix, Harry Shapiro, suggests that the song's lyrics were inspired by Heather Taylor, who later married Roger Daltrey, the singer of The Who. Let's see what else. Although Hendrix albums performed quite well in the record charts, Foxy Lady, along with other early singles, made a relatively weak showing, peaking at number 67 on the Billboard Hot 100 Pop Singles chart. And then in 1967, Polydor Records issued the single in Germany with Manic Depression as the B-side, but it did not appear on the charts. But it did. The song was included on many compilation albums. So this, again, was a very well-known, popular Jimi Hendrix song. So it's a very, I like, you'll hear it in the end, but I like the kind of the thing he does here. I think it's after this. Like the wow.
That's cool.
So what do you think of that one?
I liked it. You know, it had a pretty good beat to it. Never really heard a song quite like it. What genre would that be? Still blues rock?
So this one, it's a combination of, it's hard rock and psychedelic rock, because I guess with psychedelic, because it's like the guitar, because at that time, late 60s, early 70s, because hard rock was becoming the forefront. It was really around the time like the hippie movement. A lot of people were under the influence of psychedelic drugs. So it's like, I guess like with that guitar tone, when you're under the influence, it's a different experience. So it's labeled as that. But definitely hard rock is definitely the biggest one, because it's in your face, like down tune, big riffs and all that. So
cool.
Let me
Except for the next song.
Yes. I am glad. I'm trying to find another good song, because there's many of them. But I'm not going to do, obviously, All on the Watchtower, because, of course, you know,
everyone knows that.
That's the popular one. That's the popular one. Okay, I got it. This is one that actually is very underrated. And this one is from the second album called Electric Ladyland, which a lot of people label as one of the greatest albums of rock, especially at that time. This was the second album after Jimi Hendrix, the Are You Experience, which came out in... No, I'm sorry, the third album, which was released in 1968. That's the album that has Voodoo Child and All on the Watchtower. The song that I'm going to be showing you is called Crosstown Traffic. Have you ever heard of that one?
No.
This one I think I kind of like. You may like it. The song is a mix of psychedelic funk, acid rock, and blues rock. Because you'll hear how the guitar tones are, and kind of like how his vocals were kind of like edited into this. So are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So this was released on November 18th, 1968, the U.S. version. The UK was released a year later on April 4th of 1969. Was recorded through December 20th and 21st of 1967. Sorry if it was near your ear.
No, you're good.
This was recorded at Olympic Studios this time in London. This was written by Jimi Hendrix, and believe it or not, he actually produced the song himself. I
thought he always did.
Well, he had Chaz Chandler, that guy Chaz Chandler from the other songs I showed you.
Okay.
But he actually produced the song himself. So, let's see. Unlike many of the tracks on the album, and I'm reading this on Wikipedia, this recording features the full lineup of the Experience with Hendrix, Noel Redding, and Mitch Mitchell. Hendrix also plays a makeshift kazoo made with a comb and tissue paper in tandem at points with his lead guitar, and backing vocals are performed by Redding, along with Dave Mason, who is a singer-songwriter from Worcester, with a band Traffic, so hence Crosstown Traffic. With its hard rock riff, the song is an example of a mixture of blues and acid rock. You could probably kind of hear it.
Yeah.
So Billboard described the song as a pulsating swinger that will make a powerful chart dent. Cashbox described it as an explosive session with massive instrumental impact and a heavy vocal. This reached, well, it was released as a single after All Along the Watchtower, reaching number 52 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and number 37 on the U.K. singles chart.
I could see it. It sounds pretty similar to All Along the Watchtower.
But a little bit more kind of like tuned heavy, I guess.
Not bad.
What did you think of that one?
Do 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 do.
Yeah, you like that little part there?
That's good.
I liked how Jimmy's vocals were kind of like, what's the word? Echoey. It was kind of like the way they
added more reverb.
Added more reverb and they edited his voice. I kind of like that.
Very cool.
All right, so for the last song, there's so many songs I could show you. I don't know. There's a lot I could choose.
True.
Let's see. Okay. I'm going to show you a song that I actually really got into like a few months ago. And it's been like, whenever Jimi Hendrix comes up, that's one of the first songs I play. This is a song from the debut album, Are You Experienced? And this one was very underrated. It's called Red House. And I think it is a killer song because definitely this is like guitar chord technique mania with this song. Like I think like at like the first riff that he plays on this, it's just like it's so good. So I'm going to play Red House for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so here we go. So, this is one of the first songs recorded in 1966 by the Jimi Hendrix Experience. This is one of the very first songs. It has the musical form of a conventional 12-bar blues and features Hendrix's guitar playing. He actually developed the song prior to forming the Jimi Hendrix Experience and was inspired by early blues songs. So this is why it's very blues heavy here. This was released May 12th, 1967, recorded in 1966 on December 13th at CBS Studios in London. And Jimi wrote the song, but Chas Chandler produced it, so it wasn't Jimi that produced it. A second similar take was eventually released in the U.S. in July 1969 in the American Smash Hits compilation. It was definitely performed different in many concerts. And a lot of different blues artists and other artists, not in blues, actually did renditions of the song. So let's see with some background. So this song was inspired by blues songs Hendrix was performing early in his career as a sideman. Music critic Charles Shaar Murray described a song he calls California Night, which Hendrix performed with Curtis Knight and the Squires, as a dead ringer both in structure and mood. For his 1967 perennial Red House, originally recorded by Albert King in 1961 as Traveling to California, it is a slow blues with lyrics that follow the common blues theme of the rambling man and his lost love. Let's see. Hendrix recorded 2 live versions of Traveling to California with Knight, which prominently featured his vocal and guitar playing. Both were recorded at George's Club 22 in Hackensack, New Jersey, believe it or not, on December 26, 1965, and or of January 22, 1966. After Hendrix's death in 1970, the recordings, using various names, were released by several European record companies that specialized in bootleg and gray market albums. Music writer Keith Shadwick describes Hendrix's performance as a staggering display of blues guitar playing that is worthy of mention in the same breath as his later efforts with the Experience. Although Shadwick compares his guitar tone and phraseology to that of Buddy Guy, he adds that his techniques simply transcend any previous models and breaks new ground, and shows that his ability to spin out long and consistently surprising lines across the standard blues changes is already full grown. Composition, or let's see. So it was one of the earliest recordings, so we did that. Let's see where it peaked on the charts.
That's very interesting.
What do you think of the song so far?
I like it.
You like it? I like the drums on this. So like Mitch Mitchell is doing like this cross stick thing, and just doing like this crazy thing on the hi-hat, but you can kind of hear the cross stick on the snare. I like this part at the end. That's it.
I liked it. It reminds me a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan, which took a lot of inspiration from Mr. Hendrix.
Definitely. I feel like maybe this could have been a song that influenced them. So that is the 5 songs of Jimi Hendrix that I wanted to show you. There could have been more, but I just had to narrow it down to those.
No, it was good. I learned a lot more about Jimi Hendrix than obviously I did before. I only knew about 2 or 3 songs, so it was kind of cool learning about him.
Good. That is it for the Allan Who's Done Who.
Yep, we've been doing a lot of short ones for today, but I think it's kind of good. No dragging on, you know. We're just kind of going right through them. So
yeah.
Anyways, well, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this podcast. I had a lot of fun making it with Mr. Allan.
Likewise. It's always a good time.
So, yeah. Anything else before we...
Nope. We hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you for the next upcoming video.
Yep. Bye, guys.